The voice of sharing during ASEAN.
Hey, this is Arlene.
This is Gowri.
And I'm Asmod.
We are from Durian ASEAN, the
Are
voice
you gonna
of
say
discovery.
we are Power Rangers or something?
No, I mean, I'm just keeping out with the spirit of the World Cup, like ole, 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 ole. So just wanting to cheer up the people. And today, interestingly, we are going to talk about the World Cup, a topic that is in the hearts and minds of a lot of people. And especially in the minds of Gowri, I guess. Last week you were crying, right?
I don't really want to go there. Well, yeah, I was pretty upset. I was curled up in bed with a huge tub of ice cream because Spain got kicked out of the World Cup.
And they are the first country to be kicked out.
Thank you.
Just going to feel happy about Spain being out.
Yeah, you just wait until Netherlands loses or something.
Well, there's a lot of surprises actually in the World Cup. I mean, to analyze it thoroughly, like if underdogs defeating long-range champions and people who we deem are better than the other country actually beat that country.
Well, I still have Germany though to root for.
Yeah, that's
so I
true.
hope they don't get kicked out anytime soon. Otherwise, I have no team to root for anymore.
And I mean, so today we're going to analyze FIFA's World Cup countries and matches.
Yeah, I think the first country that we're going to talk about is, of course, Spain. We're going to try and analyze why they went out of the World Cup so quickly. So they actually, as we all know, they lost 5-1 to Netherlands, which I read an article that said it's the worst opening match by a defending champion to lose 5-1.
And say in the match, coming into the match, people might have predicted, it would probably be a replication of the final 4 years back, where the Spain and Netherlands had fierce competition. But once the Dutch started scoring, it was hard to say that they were playing against the current champions.
At first it was just one goal for Spain and I think one for Netherlands. But after the second half,
They totally kicked the Spain
suddenly
off
I
the
think,
ground.
we were actually driving around trying to look for a different place to watch the second half. I don't know why. And then suddenly I saw so many Dutch names and I was like, I'm done. It's just too painful to watch anymore.
The Dutch also have wonderful players, say like Robben and Van Persie, who scored beautiful goals. So it's also about, to some extent, individual brilliance in the World Cup, and it matters to what extent your stars in the team shine.
And I think Van Persie's diving goal has been the highlight of the World Cup so far.
That goal was spectacular. When I first saw it, I don't even consider that as a goal. That is a piece of art.
No one saw it coming. It was just he just jumped and he hit the ball and it was a beautiful goal.
Yeah, that's like a Superman goal to me.
So I think going back to Spain, Casillas is actually being the most the blamed one in this case, and everyone's saying that he's the captain and he's kind of overrated. He was supposed to be the best goalkeeper in the world, which he is, and he probably was, but he's probably not in his best form in this World Cup because he's played in 4 World Cups so far, I think, and I saw pictures of him during training, and he was very, very down. He didn't even I guess he cannot even fully participate in the trainings anymore.
I think it's very evident when a goalkeeper does a mistake. It's clear, you can't escape that. And I think it was Robert Green for England 4 years back who lost his position because of a simple goalkeeping mistake. Versus in the case of Casillas, he hasn't played that many matches this year for his club either. And I think that has taken some mental toll on him too, because after Mourinho dropped him from the team, the new Real boss also dropped him from his first team in the La Liga, although he has played some Champions League matches.
Well, I think because of his hand injury when he was recovering, and then Mourinho, and then also Ancelotti followed, he only played away matches in the Champions League, whereas the rest was all the other Real Madrid.
I think it was Casillas in the Champions League and
Diego Lopez.
Lopez in the
Well, I don't want you to focus too much on a country that I have no idea about, but I just want to put a highlight on some of the other upsets or surprise, especially from yesterday's report, like, for example, Korea versus Algeria. Who knows? Algeria could score 4-2 against South Korea. And secondly is Russian versus Belgium. Belgium score 1 against Russia, which is a huge continent, actually. And the US versus Portugal, they actually equalized 2-2. It's interesting because you would never consider the US to be better than Portugal.
and it almost won the match.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's
Yeah,
the
we never
interesting
expected
fact.
the United States to actually be on par with Portugal, which supposedly has the best player in the world. Who
Oh,
is
you have your
Cristiano.
favorite
Well,
Cristiano
he's
Ronaldo
not my
there.
favorite. Let me make that clear. He's not my favorite player. I do not think he's hot. I have other favorite players, so yeah.
But he also has some injury problems, so he's not at
That's
his
true.
best.
He was diagnosed with tendonitis at the start of the World Cup, even towards the end of the
And
season.
I want to highlight another more. I wouldn't say upset, but surprise score would be Germany versus Ghana. It's actually an equalizer 2-2 as well. It's interesting. You would expect a country a country who has been the champion for, I think, a few times, for Germany, could actually be equalize the same goal with Ghana. And another one is Iran versus Argentina. Argentina only managed to score 1 goal against Iran, while the next one, Nigeria versus Bosnia and Herzegovina. I think that one probably would not be a favorite match for a lot of people because both of them are still considered, underdogs, I guess.
So how did the Germany team do, Arlene, since you're into Germany
Well,
and all?
unfortunately I didn't keep up with my German side, so I have no idea. But I do know England was the second country after Spain to be kicked out from the World Cup, and I don't know it will make any people sad, but I'm sure a lot of people in Malaysia will be sad about it since England is like their second homes.
I think it has also largely to do with the media nowadays because lots of English players, they play in English Premier Leagues and that is largely broadcasted in like huge parts of the world. And people know the players like Rooney and Joe Hart and lots of players in the team. So when England, like every time England plays in the World Cup, like is considered as one of the title contenders, but doesn't live up to its expectations. Like it's just always not a shame, but people on one hand know like England has very high potentials, but it doesn't live up to that.
I think what's also interesting about that is one of the Premier League's most prominent player, who is Luis Suarez, was actually playing for Uruguay against England, and he's still shown, albeit in a different team, and he actually played the key role in defeating England, which is actually the club. He plays for Liverpool, and he actually became the reason that I think England was actually kicked out of the World Cup, and he actually grew in England itself. So that came off as a pretty shocking thing as well.
I think, this is just my personal opinion. The strongest country right now is definitely Netherlands. They have won 2 games. I think compared to other countries, they are the one on the leading rank. But what is your view on that? What is the strongest country?
There are dark horses like Costa Rica and Chile, which almost like nobody expected them to progress through the second round, and they have pulled up shocks here. And even seeing the performance of Iran against Argentina, it was very shocking because like Messi pulled a goal in the injury time, and the defense was so good. Like Argentina simply couldn't.
I
break the
totally
deadlock.
agree. I totally agree with you. Iran did very badly in the last World Cup. In fact, they were not the favorites at all. They were expected to do very badly, and they defended very well. And that's a great thing. I like that you mentioned Chile, because guess which country Chile beat? If it's not Spain.
England? Oh no.
So going back to Germany, it was very impressive the goal by Klose is another talked about goal at the moment. He did his signature somersault goal, if you will, and he's been playing for I don't know how many years exactly, but it has to be close to 10, I think, because I think I was 12 years old when I started watching him, and I'm way older now.
I think he started playing for Germany in 2001, and he has played like 19 World Cup matches and scored 15 goals. That's a very solid record.
And also the second goal by Mario Götze, but they actually drew with Ghana, for the amount of how do I say it? Their caliber. You would expect them to score a lot more than just 2 goals, because the first game, like we know, Muller got a hat trick, and I guess the fans really had their expectations high, and a lot of them were not happy that they drew with Ghana, who also played really well that night and put up a good challenge.
I think when any two big teams play, they play to score, and the games are very open. Say like Germany versus Portugal, versus like in a match between Iran and Argentina. One team is there actually to defend and not to score either, and not to let the other team score. So scoring becomes very difficult. And maybe the same might have happened in the case of Ghana, but they actually took the lead, and Germany had to come from behind to equalize. So definitely we're talking about team plays in World Cups rather than individual brilliances. Also, but as Messi showed, individual brilliances also count.
And I think, like Arlene said earlier, Netherlands is also definitely a group to watch out for. And I think last World Cup, Spain actually beat them, and they definitely had their revenge this year, and they're definitely a lot stronger. I'll give them that. And like you mentioned, players like Robin van Persie, Arjen Robben, and also a few others who are really promising, and they've been putting up a good fight for their opponents.
So if you guys have to pick a team, who would you pick now? Since we are almost like in the second week of World Cup, and we have seen the performances.
Well, of course, I have always been rooting for Germany, but if I want to base on just the score, I think Holland, which is the second country that I root for, would be the favorite. But I'm also scared about countries that are very good in the beginning, but later on they become probably nervous or overconfident. They sort of lose the steam, And it happens a lot with countries like Netherlands. They are always good at the beginning rounds. They are always perfect in terms of their scoring. But when it comes to the later matches, especially the finals or the games before the semi-finals, they sort of loses that sort of like teamwork that they used to have. Well, the thing I like about Germany is they are always consistent. I mean, even though they might not be as great as they used to, but they are always consistent in terms of the way they perform. But I don't want to. I mean, I don't want to let go of some of the underdogs that I root for, and the underdogs that I think would definitely make a huge surprise, I think would be, let me check. I saw that one country. I think it would be either Iran or another one. It would be, let me check. It will be Algeria. It's either Iran or Algeria. They might make a surprise comeback, being an underdog.
Who do you pick, Gowri?
Well, my favorite team has always been Spain and Germany. So now that Spain is out, I'm left with Germany. I guess I don't really have any other team that I'm rooting for. So I think Germany also has one of the best squad in the world right now in the entire World Cup. And my favorite player, who is Mesut Ozil, by the way, not Cristiano Ronaldo, is actually in Germany, and he did very well when he was in Real Madrid, and then he moved to Arsenal, and he probably didn't fit in too well at the beginning, but he's slowly finding his place, and he's also been doing quite well, although he hasn't been shining as much as the other players so far. But I think with all the players like Muller, Royce is not playing. We have Cruz, they have Boateng, they have Hummels, they have Mertesacker, and I think we probably have a good chance at probably heading to the finals this year.
And I'd pick Argentina this year, although I also think Brazil has a good chance because it's their home country.
I'm glad that you mentioned Brazil actually because they are the home country and they should have. I mean, they should usually you have a better chance to win if it's like in your own country.
But for Argentina, the way they played and just seeing the desire, especially in Messi, to win and to prove something. And he has been performing, like he scored 2 goals in last 2 matches and also played a hand in the 3rd goal. So all the goals that Argentina has scored now, Messi has played some role. So unless like he gets some big injury, I'd vote for Argentina.
So who do you think will be in the finals?
Actually, like
just the final 2 teams, maybe.
Probably Argentina. And thing is, like I haven't seen the schedule, so the team I'm thinking might meet in like quarterfinals or semi-finals.
But we forgot about France. You know, I mean, they have done badly in the last World Cup, and I have to mention this: they beat Switzerland 5-2 in the previous game, and it shows that France is bouncing back. So it's not like, you know, they don't have an equal chance as well.
I think I'm not too surprised actually, because they do have Benzema, who is a powerful player in France, and then also they have Rafael Varane. I know that these 2 players are from Real Madrid, but even in Real Madrid, they have been doing really well. Benzema is always the next one to score, apart from Cristiano Ronaldo. He's the second striker in place, and Rafael Varane is a very, very good defender. During a lot of El Clasico matches, he was actually the one who cleared the goals, apart from the goalkeeper doing his job. So I think France was another team probably that I could root for if...
I would rather root for France
team.
than England anytime. I mean, I think, especially Malaysians in general, they always like to be overconfident over England. I don't know why.
But that won't work this time.
But I think you guys should highlight some underdogs as well. I mean, I already to me, Iran and Algeria is definitely my favorite underdogs. But what about yours?
I think like for the underdogs, like they might perform well, but thing is like I think you also need some bigger stage experience, and it takes, I think, immense pressure like and toll on players once they reach at like semi-final and final. And if the players aren't used to playing at big stages, they might just crumble down. Versus like say players in country like Argentina, Germany, probably Spain, England, they have this experience in playing under pressure. So maybe like the teams can grow tremendously in like 2 8 weeks and go on to win the World Cup. But as we saw in the case of Ghana last year, in the last World Cup, although that was unfortunate that they moved, that they were out of the quarterfinals, but still, like there are still some hesitations. I'd say, like within me, when I have to support for underdogs in the World Cup.
I'm not sure if Uruguay can be considered as an underdog because
they
I
won
think
the first World Cup.
Yeah, and they also did pretty well last season with Diego Forlan as their key player, and this year they have Suarez, who is one of the most feared strikers in the league, or probably even in World Cup, because in the last match he actually scored both the goals, 2 goals by himself, and I think probably Uruguay can go pretty far this time in the World Cup.
So we have a few minutes now. I guess we have to wrap this up. What do you want to add more in terms of the World Cup?
I just want to add about Brazil. I think a lot of people are rooting for Brazil this year, definitely.
It's the
like
home
you
country.
mentioned earlier, it's the home country, and they have a way higher chance of winning. And there's also a lot of articles and news that I read that said Neymar could single-handedly drive the entire team into victory. And they also have other players like Marcelo, they have Oscar, they have Hulk, and they have Julio Cesar. And
you understand the players well. Who do you think would probably be a winner for the Golden Boots?
It's hard to say because it's still early, but I think at this moment it's between probably Suarez, Muller and
And the guy who did the Superman.
yeah, probably
Heading,
probably
goal
Van
heading.
Persie as
Yeah.
well. I'm guessing so far probably one of these three.
What about you? Do you have any view on that?
I'd vote for Messi.
Right, of course.
Oh,
Hey, Messi's got way too many awards. He doesn't
I'm not
need
taking
it
any
anymore.
chances. Yeah.
Actually, you're right. I mean, I was a few days ago. I was looking at a video compilation of all his goals, and
Who, Messi?
Yeah, Messi's
Okay.
goals. I was so impressed the way he drilled the ball, and he sort of. I mean, there were like a few people in front of him. He managed to like score the goal and like move around his ball. To me, it's like wow.
Yeah, you need to watch more Barcelona matches.
I think so.
And you'll get bored.
Yeah, because we're like, this is no new news, right? We're like, yeah, that's Messi.
Anyway, we will continue back with a topic that is not related to football but is related to the monarchy. We invited someone from the Negeri Sembilan monarchy. His name is Tun Zain Al Abidin Ibnu Tuanku Mukris. He'll be sharing with us on the role of monarchy in modern Malaysia. Stay tuned.